This is gonna be a long one, eh?
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
It's been a journey.
It's been quite the journey.
And now we're here at the end of it all.
We made it.
We did.
It took a long time.
I know. For those of you who are wondering what we're talking about, we are now, just now, going on to the last Harry Potter film.
The finale.
Woo! Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 2.
So
Whew.
do you want to talk a little bit about like when this movie came out? Kind
Oh
of
my goodness.
the feeling around it,
Oh,
the anticipation.
it was literally just a poster that says it all ends.
Yeah.
You didn't even need the Harry Potter. Like, you knew. Everybody knew when, like, what was happening. Like, the lineups were through the roof. Everyone went dressed up.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing. Did you go dressed up?
I did not. I didn't go opening probably week, I think. Like, I don't even know when exactly I saw it in terms of when it came out. But I remember I went to and I saw it there.
Okay.
So it was like a smaller theater that we went to and just got to watch it. Because like at the time I knew how it ended because it's the book.
Yeah.
Ending.
I was gonna say spoilers, but like you read the book.
So for me, it wasn't like I need to see this because I need to know what happens. It was more like I know what's going to happen. But what about, when did you actually see this movie?
I went with my family, and I think we went not opening week, but probably like really early into the week after, like just enough that like the theater was packed. People were dressed up. I wore my cloak.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm sure as hell not going without getting dressed up, because I was so invested. I was so into it. Like the moment like we sat down in the theater, I'm like sitting there be like, oh my God. Oh my God. And then like as soon as it started, the music started, it was just like tears. I just started sobbing. I'm like, oh my goodness, what's happening? Oh my goodness, I wasn't prepared for that because I didn't read the books. I didn't know what I was expecting.
Which is such a different perspective to have, that I'm
Yeah.
sure the whole movie you were like, what is
I
going
didn't
on?
know what was happening, and then all of a sudden it was just like boom, 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 done. And I'm like, oh, what? I was like mind boggling. And you have like that breath in the middle, and I was like, couldn't even breathe because I was too busy crying.
But yeah, there's like a lot of plot stuff. Reading it in the books and then visualizing it in the movie is quite different as well. So I think that's another thing too, that if this is the first time you're seeing it, maybe it kind of made a bit more sense.
It made sense, but it was definitely one of those, like, especially because of like the battle sequences, like when you watch it for the first time, because you're so like, I was so emotionally invested into it that I was like, I was so like trying to like watch everything that was happening that I'd missed things. So like when I went back and I was able to watch it again, like when it came out on DVD, I was just like, oh my God, it hit a lot harder because I was able to pick up on more things, like certain characters that you didn't even realize that were actually part of it were there.
Yeah.
And you're like, when did you get here? Kind of thing. It was just like, guess it really is all hands on deck for the Battle of Hogwarts. I'll speak for myself, but I'm sure like, you know, as other Potterheads can attest, like this was an experience to be a part of. And I don't think we're going to get that again.
Yeah, it's interesting because like this did set the precedent of splitting your movie into two. So they were trying to replicate that kind of, for lack of a better term, magic.
Magic!
When this first came out, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like they are trying to chase that with the movie franchises that they have these days, but they haven't really landed on it again.
No, definitely not. Like, yeah, like, you know, Harry Potter was the first one to split their finale into two, and then Twilight jumped on it, Hunger Games jumped on it,
Yeah.
and then like every movie since then is like, oh well, now we have to have two. Like Avengers did it, so it kind of like paved the way to be like, okay, yeah, you know, like if you have more of your story to tell, it's okay to split it into two, but make sure it's justified. I think that's the important thing, right?
Yeah, I just, like I've said before, I think there's like such a part of my brain where the books and movies are connected that I don't think I had the same experience watching the movie of like, I'm so emotional about this. Also, just watching movies in general, I don't really get
Oh, I'm
to
so,
that level.
I've always been so like gullible. I get so sucked into movies, and I'm just like, the next thing I know, I'm just sitting there in like a pile of my tears. I'm like, but it was just a movie, but it felt so real. But like, it wasn't even that good, but it felt so real. Stop crying. Interesting question though for you.
Yep.
When you're like, I want to watch Harry Potter, do you just pull a random one off the shelf that you want to watch and watch it, or do you have to watch them chronologically?
I'm gonna say I don't have to watch them chronologically, but why wouldn't I? You
Exactly.
know?
I feel like the only one that I won't, like, I'll just watch it for the sake of watching it is the sixth one, because like I've said, it's my favorite one. But I also feel like, you know, like as important as it is, it also, you know, kind of stands alone in a bit of itself. But for the most part, for me personally, I do have to watch them chronologically, which is why I've only seen this one like maybe 3 times.
Yeah, I mean,
I haven't seen it a lot because I go to start my marathon. I get to part 1 and then I finish part 1 and then I don't have time to go back and then by the time I have time to go and sit and watch it, it's been like a month or so. I'm like, oh well, I guess I'll have to start all over again.
yeah. I know for some people, like, these are comfort movies, so it is something they will just throw on. I'm not really that person. If I'm gonna watch them, it's usually because I'm watching them all over again. So for me, I wouldn't just throw one on. I don't know. I'm not the type of person that likes rewatching the same movie in a close time period.
Yeah.
Like, I do really stretch out how often I do because I'm always watching new movies. So like retreading on a movie, I feel like it's got to be something where I'm like, there's a reason why I want to do this right now, as opposed to just, oh, I'll just throw this on.
So do you have, is Harry Potter one of those movies, like series that you watch like annually? Or do you kind of like break it up like every other year? You'd be like, okay, I'm going to have a Harry Potter marathon.
I do not watch them annually, mostly because, again, I really try to watch new movies a lot of the time. So for me to go back on a movie, it feels like I'm taking away from seeing a new one.
Okay, yeah.
So I really don't rewatch a lot of movies, again, within a short window. There's always new stuff and things I want to experience. So I'm like, it's hard to retread all the time. That's for me, though.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
Every year I try to make a point to watch Harry Potter and The Lord of the Rings. At least once a year, I gotta watch them. It's just been a thing that I've always done. I usually don't really keep track of it though. Like if I get to it, I get to it. But if I don't, then it's just like, oh, I'll add it to the next, like when I am in a binge mood.
So the way we've been talking, we're kind of assuming you have seen this movie at this point. But Christina, if somebody has never seen this movie before.
Goodness. Right, yes. Sorry, spoilers, right? Rip.
Which is totally fine, but maybe don't start with this one.
Yeah, don't start with this one. For the love of all that is good in this world. Don't start with this
Yeah.
one. You're going to be so confused. IMDb.
Yes.
We're getting back to that. Okay, so it came out in 2011. And this one is David Yates again, bringing it home. The plot summary is Harry, Ron, and Hermione search for Voldemort's remaining Horcruxes in their effort to destroy the Dark Lord as the final battle rages on. Music again is Alexander Desplat. You know, if you want to listen to the soundtrack, it's one of my favorites. I have like a playlist that's just like Harry Potter.
We'd love to hear in the comments down below anyone else's experience when they first saw this movie. If you saw it in theaters, maybe you were just at home one day and threw it on. I don't know.
You let us know.
Let us know.
How was your final experience?
Or you can watch it with us right now. Woo! Just bits and pieces, though.
Bits and pieces. Not the whole thing, because, you know, YouTube.
It's Maddie here. We just want to acknowledge that although we are watching the Harry Potter series, we do not agree with the negative remarks made by J.K. Rowling towards the trans community. While we, and we're sure others, have grown up watching this series, it's awful to see how many people have been hurt by the words and actions of the author. We understand how this series can be difficult for some, so please watch only if you're comfortable. We want to create an inclusionary space within our YouTube community, and we will not tolerate hate. This video will not talk any further about the author's remarks, but will instead focus on the movie itself. Thanks so much for watching, and we hope you enjoy.
Because
The tomb is
we didn't
opening.
remember this from the last film.
In case you forgot, here's a quick recap. Also, I mean, like, it gives some context, but you didn't have to put this in.
No, but I mean, it was a great last note for the previous film because, like, that paired with the music was
But, like,
amazing.
an opening shot to your movie, and you're rehashing your previous one.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that. I think the only reason they did that was because, it's been like a year and a bit. Oh, look at all the happy faces of the Hogwarts students.
It's, like, as far zoomed out as possible, and you're like, look at their faces.
There's actually a tomb, not a tomb, but like a tombstone for Dobby on that beach in England. So if you ever go, you can go and leave a sock for Dobby.
Wow, I'm sure he appreciates it.
He's probably like swimming in socks now. All these socks.
See, it's shell cottage. Do you get it? Because they're shells.
There's shells in the foundation too.
It's made of shells. It's made of shells.
The Order uses it now as a safe house.
I feel like them bringing Fleur and Bill into this is just really forced.
I mean, we did focus quite a bit on their wedding, all things considered.
That's true, we did. It was a pretty big ordeal. Too bad Cedric didn't get the invite.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Oh yeah, he was too busy in Forks.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, he was too busy being a glowing vampire.
Shiny,
He's
sparkling,
trying to work on being a bat.
shimmer.
And he only achieved that this year.
Could you imagine if Twilight made them turn into bats as well? They're just like, no,
That would have
I
been
want
way
sparkle.
too much. That'd have been too much. No, they had to make
Sparkly.
him sparkle.
There's so many shells all behind me. Did you see? Look at all.
Just in case, you didn't get the memo, you're in Shell Cottage.
Yes.
You might as well just made it like in the shape of a giant shell.
Yeah.
Like just a little bit more on the nose, please.
Oh my god.
And what do you know about the Deathly Hallows?
Ooh,
Hit a nerve.
nothing.
I don't know anything.
Why would you ask?
And the resurrections.
Why do you need to reiterate them like 1,000 times? I think we gathered.
It's because the movie's called The Deathly Hallows. They have to say it multiple times.
Oh, to reiterate that it is actually the Deathly Hallows.
We already recapped
I feel
the
like we
ending of the
shouldn't-
last movie. We got to recap The Deathly Hallows.
Just because then Ophelia has to read the book again. It's fine.
They should have opened with that.
Just put that scene up. That was a great scene.
It's been so much fun for Helena Bonham Carter to do.
It was like a lot of work. Like, because Emma had to walk through and do the scene. Then Helena would go through and do the scene. And then like that's what they filmed. But like they had to work like side by side.
Yeah.
So she could get like the movements and acting right. But with her own spin on it.
Mm-hmm. Why isn't Harry already in the cloak at that point?
Yeah, really. He should never have like
He's
gone
on the
somewhere
run.
without it. Yeah, really. And what's Ron thinking? Like, I'm just going to put a wig and a fake mustache on and we're going to be fine.
Clark Kent effect.
They'll totally buy me as a Death Eater.
Yeah. Who's this normal looking security guard? That's not any kind of like...
A muggle looking
Yeah.
like security guard just slowly walking behind.
Lumos.
Is the idea of this that they touch so many things that it like eventually drowns them?
So everything in her vault has been enchanted with the Gemino curse, which duplicates upon contact. My assumption is like upon contact of like the person which is not their vault. So like if Bellatrix went in there and touched something, it'd be fine. But because there's intruders, anything that they touch does multiply.
But
Except for the Horcrux.
But then what's the point? You know, like okay, everything multiplies, so you can't find the one item. But does that like stop anything from being taken? No, because they take it anyway.
True. One person knocks one thing over, then everyone's got to knock something else
Yeah.
over. Like, come on, guys,
Pay
get it
attention.
together. Didn't your parents ever tell you not to touch anything when you go into a store? Don't touch
Especially
this.
if
I'm not
it's
paying for it if
multiplying.
you break it. Well, what a mess. Who's gonna clean that up now?
You can't clean it up because if you touch it, it's gonna multiply.
Oh, there has to be a way to stop it.
Absolutely not. No magic exists.
No, there's no magic in this world.
No.
Where's Charlie?
See, they could have done this so easily if they just brought Charlie with them. Instead,
Yeah,
they went
honestly.
to Bill's house.
Yeah, go to Charlie next time, guys.
Bad
Come on.
choice.
Bad choice. Wrong Weasley.
Wrong Weasley or wrong Weasley?
Both.
You're telling me no muggles saw this?
There's a dragon flying over London. What? No.
I say we jump!
When?
Now!
Wow. Thanks for the heads up, Harry.
Ready and go now, right this
When
second.
are we gonna now?
Now. Let go. Everyone they let go, but Harry still hangs on. Okay, bye guys.
Psych.
Just kidding.
That's nice that they gave him a little hint so he knows where to go.
I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna rage right now, but I'm also gonna help you so you know where to go. Of all like the random items in the entire world that Voldemort could have picked, like he picked
I know.
Hogwarts things like
His hubris. Like, yeah, because I
pick
guess
something
the
more
question
subtle.
is, do you pick something subtle but could accidentally be found really easily or like ruined really easily? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Lucius looks like he had a bad
It
night.
looks like he hasn't slept in 4 weeks. How do you put an alarm out for one specific person?
How do you put an alarm out and then not get to the person in time? That's the whole point of the alarm. Oh no, a locked door.
Alohomora!
How will a wizard get around this?
Oh no! Because plot.
Bloody fools. What were you thinking coming here?
Do you have any idea how serious this is?
Fools, such fools.
We've been hunting Horcruxes.
Let me just play my plan out for you.
I mean,
We're hunting Horcruxes.
Harry had so much difficulty figuring out what a Horcrux was. Does everybody in the world just know what they are? Like, he doesn't need to explain that?
Yeah, apparently all the seniors know what it is.
Yeah.
His class just doesn't.
Yeah, 16 and under, no go.
Don't put them down for that. They haven't been taught that yet. That's
Yeah.
year 7. They didn't get that far.
Especially with Snape teaching defense against
Oh,
the
yeah, there you
Horcrux.
go.
That's what a fool does. You don't strike me as a fool, Harry Potter.
You just call them fools for coming here.
So this would be his tagline, fools.
That's it, eh?
That's the tagline, fools. Everyone has like a little like catchphrase, right? His is just fools. Put that on his gravestone. Fools.
They played this bit up with so much tension, and then it's like, oh, it's Neville.
Oh, it's just Neville. It's fine.
Yeah. Who's in that top hammock? How'd they get up there?
Yeah, really. Luna.
What is it? We don't know.
Where is it?
We don't know that either. I realise it's not much to go on.
Can't say,
Nothing to go off.
can't say Harry Potter's not relatable.
Can someone tell me what a bloody diadem is?
It's a sort of crown, you know, like a tiara.
It's a tiara.
What's it? What? Why would it be called a diadem? What's the difference?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not a crown specialist.
Ugh, get on that.
Yeah, I got to. I hope to start my crown collection. I better get on top of this.
Yeah.
Gotta differentiate here.
Snape knows.
Oh, we'll just like throw Cormac in there just for the sake of throwing him in there.
Yo, okay, sorry for this tangent, but Cormac's in the new Peacemaker show, and
Okay.
he plays such a silly character. But oh my god, I was watching and I was like, I didn't realize that was him.
I didn't even realize this after, but he's also in Pitch Perfect. He's in
He
the
just
first one
does
as
a
like
lot
the
of
guy that
stuff.
works in the radio booth.
Good for him.
Harry Potter was sighted in Hogsmeade.
Harry Potter, Harry Potter, Harry Potter.
Despite your exhaustion.
Love that he put on the uniform.
Yeah, right? Well, half uniform. He just put on the cloak.
Yeah.
It's got a zipper. McGonagall in action.
Yeah, she doesn't really get to use a lot of like.
She doesn't. And when she
Offensive,
does,
like-
it's just like, what a badass woman.
Oh, it sucked all the light out of the world.
Dementor.
Dementors suck out the color of the scene.
Yeah, we're going to lower the gradient a lot. So you
Turn
can
it a little
barely see
green.
anything.
Get that matrix color correction.
Yeah, really.
Pier totum locomotor.
I love this because it's just so in tune with the music and it just really gets you, like, pulls you so much in. You're like, oh my god, the battle's about to start. Like, oh my god.
I've always wanted to use that spell. The pure joy.
McGonagall.
This actress is the person from Brave, right?
Yeah. They originally asked Kate Winslet to do it, but she turned it down.
I wouldn't mind that.
Rowena's daughter.
If you could change your fate.
Let's let my hair down, if it needs to be, let my arrows fly. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I can't take her seriously now
Yeah.
because of that movie. She's also in The Decoy Bride.
Yeah.
That's a gem. We should add that to the list.
Go ahead.
I love that movie. It's such like a feel-good movie.
You okay?
Would you like to mention when Fred and George's birthday is?
It's April 1st. Woo!
April Fool's Day, guys. It's like happy and sad all at the same
Oh.
time, and I don't know how I feel about this.
Oh boy.
Oh look, the basilisk is now a corpse.
Yeah, I like that makes
Skeletons.
sense, I guess, but it seems strange.
I feel like it still would have been there.
Yeah, like no
Like-
one would get rid of it.
Yeah, well, obviously no one's been down there since.
Filch hasn't
Hasn't
moved it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been a little busy setting up and taking down the pictures.
It's nice that they let Hermione do this one.
Yeah, right? I like how they all had a part in killing at least one of them.
Yeah.
Even Neville.
Yeah.
Gotta bring him in there too.
This one didn't put up much of a fight, though.
No.
It's just like, uh-oh, you got wet.
Mom, Dad, where did you have your first kiss? Oh, the Chamber of Secrets
Well,
after
you
we destroyed
see-
a Horcrux.
I got a fang from a dead corpse. And
From
I
a dead
plunged
basilisk corpse.
I plunged it into the soul of the most evil man. And you just knew
Just knew.
we were meant to kiss at that moment.
just felt right.
Yeah. I love that Voldemort noises are still like a thing people do.
Oh, right, you're doing Voldemort? Yeah, I got you.
How did Neville survive this? Magic.
Trolls.
Trolls in the field. Oh, Draco.
Welcome to the party.
Let me get my two best friends.
And we just happen to know where
my
exactly to
two
go.
best friends that I've had since first year.
It's not like one just randomly showed up in the sixth one.
No.
And we're supposed to know who this person is.
Best friends.
Best friends. How did he know where to go? That is just what I want to know.
Because he loves Harry Potter.
Obviously, but like, let's come on.
He's got a Harry radar.
I put a tracker on him when he was
A hairdar.
Well, Harry does have his wand right now, so maybe he has a tracker in his wand.
Or just like an instinctual feeling.
Find my iPhone. Find my wand. My wand. It's 300 meters to the right.
Beep, 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 beep. It's a good thing Harry checked under this rope.
He had a diadem radar, okay?
Beep, 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 beep.
It's right here! Blinking lights and everything.
The lost item.
It's not lost anymore.
He grabs Hermione, leaves Harry.
I think it would have been better if he'd grabbed Harry and left Hermione.
It would kind of make sense right now. You know, you're on a timeline here.
Just how convenient. We found some brooms.
It's the room of requirement.
the broom of requirement.
The broom of requirement.
That's supposed to be Oliver Wood.
That's Oliver.
That's supposed to be Oliver.
But is it?
I don't know. I haven't like done a deep dive into all credits for this to see if Sean Biggerstaff, because he's got a best name of life,
Yes.
was credited. But apparently, according to like Pottermore, Oliver Wood was present for the battle.
Yeah, but I mean,
And
that,
most fans have theorized that that's the character.
that could be like a retroactive.
Well, yeah. Ron felt nothing.
I know. What a terrible way to just like end that character.
I think that's like one of the most upsetting ways to go, right? It's not even like you just died. It was you were then fed on by
Yeah.
a werewolf
And just nobody even,
and you just left there.
yeah, stopped or anything.
Be like, Voldemort's right there, but like, I'm gonna stay hidden.
Do you think Voldemort could sense Harry's right there?
He should have.
Like,
Or is he just that dumb? He's like, it's not the right moment. I'm not really feeling it right now, but like, give me like 2 hours.
we gotta wait till like the actual time he's due at, and then I'm prepared.
Yeah, no, Harry's not due till 2 a.m. We still got some time.
You killed Dumbledore.
For this to have worked, though, like, there's so many things that had to perfectly line up,
Right?
and there's no way they could have known.
Like everyone in the theater's just like, yay, Snape's dead. And then other people like, you know, that read the books are like, no.
Yeah, because I guess at this point you really have no reason to like.
To really care for him. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's also like, you know, this character that's been there since the beginning. You have
Yeah.
an attachment to it. And you're like, oh, this is sad. Professor Snape, no.
And then retroactively, it's
And
even
you're like,
more sad.
no. You're like flipping tables. You're like, this cannot happen.
Harry Potter, I now speak directly to you.
This one goes out to Harry, my boy.
My main man, Harry.
This one's just for you.
Just for you. Everyone else, don't listen. Harry, man.
Cover your ears, even though I'm inside your head.
Just chilling.
Hey, he was in it. He was in the fray.
Yeah, he's got to start cleaning.
Walder Frey.
Oh! Major casualty.
It's a pretty quiet moment, all things considered, though.
2 more major casualties. That's just like so upsetting.
Why did Harry have to throw it?
Because why not?
Why couldn't he just use it in the regular spot?
He wanted to throw it.
There we have the infamous eyes.
You have your mother's eyes. You go through like all these years, and every single movie, at least 4 times, it's like you have your mother's eyes, only to lead up to this big moment, and she has brown eyes.
Yeah, it's really not just like a one-off thing. It's like repeatedly said.
It's just like, how do you like mess that up? Oh, so we know James didn't always have glasses.
Something happened.
Something happened
Some
after
type of
first year. Prank gone wrong.
Yep.
But you must wait until Voldemort is at his most vulnerable.
He was really like banking on Snape being alive for this whole thing.
That's what I mean. Like, there's a lot of things that need to be in place for this plan to work.
It has to be Snape that tells Harry, but Snape has to be alive long enough, and Harry has to be in the right moment at the right time to get it.
Yeah, there's just a lot that, because if Harry didn't go down to the boathouse,
He wouldn't have been
he wouldn't have seen him.
seen Snape die and wouldn't have been able to get the memory. The lamp is broken and on the ground. Why is it still on? Sorry, props. Can we get an answer for that, please?
Battery operated.
After all this time. Always.
He perfectly curated these memories.
Yeah.
He cut them, he edited them so Harry would completely understand what was going on.
Yeah, he pieced it together in a split second.
Give him a little bit of like tension and then a surprise finale.
Giving him all the relevant information that that everyone neglected to tell him all these years.
Yeah.
Where's Cormac? He hasn't been in this in a while. He's got to be there somewhere, right?
That's what you're thinking about
No,
right
he
now?
was actually he's there. He's just hiding somewhere.
But this is what you're thinking
It was
about
just a random thought that just popped
in
into
this
my head.
exact moment.
Yeah, Harry's walking through a forest, and I was like, "Where's Cormac?"
You just wish he had come across him. It was like, hey,
Just
mate.
"Oh, hey, what's up? Why are you in the forest?" "I don't know. Just went for a stroll."
Harry kisses the snitch almost as many times as he kisses Ginny.
Others will tell him what his mother and father.
Look at him. His hair's all perfectly coiffed and everything.
It's what happens after death. Ideal version of yourself.
Oh, look, Harry's still wearing that shirt.
Yeah.
Even in the afterlife.
What did we say? Idealized form.
Have been connected by something other than.
So I think it's interesting, though, that the person he meets is Dumbledore. It's not anybody else. I think it actually would have been more interesting if it was Snape.
I mean, it's for the exposition of it all, though, right?
Yeah. Like, could you imagine, though? You go to the afterlife and it's Snape that greets you.
He'd be like, oh, God, not this guy again.
I think that would have been interesting, though. It would have been more for more like dialogue. Be like, I saw the memories.
Is he alive? Draco, is he
Like, this scene doesn't make sense to people unless they have read the books and know a little bit of like backstory. Because they're like, why is Narcissa the one that goes over? Why is she able to lie? And it's because she's like the best at occupants. I don't think I said that right. But like she's able to block her mind from Voldemort.
Is this one of the best moments in cinematic history? The hug of Draco?
It was the way that Tom talks about it in interviews is hilarious. He's like, yeah, we did like 40 takes and only one of them did Rafe decide to hug me. And that's the one that I went with.
I think I was truly confused in the theater when this happened.
I know. It's like,
Draco, I'm taking you home.
we're fleeing. We're done
Very,
with
very
this.
slowly.
And then Lucia's like, oh, I guess that's my cue to leave. Come on. Wait for me.
This is such a fun way of doing this.
It's such a goofy scene.
I'm totally okay with it, though. All this serious stuff's going on, and then you just have this, like, lucid Neville.
Just like coming to, he's like, oh, I guess I got the sword. I should probably do something with it.
It's just a little slap. Backhand from Voldemort.
Sitting around the dinner table. He's like, hey, kids, I remember this one time I got slapped by Voldemort.
Why does he keep slapping him? You have magic.
Flip him over the side.
Yeah.
Look, you don't even have to flip him over. Just push him.
This was also an interesting choice. Like, what is the implication here? That because all of his soul is
He
gone,
became nothing.
He's done. There's somebody in there like, coughing because they're like, I ingested some of Voldemort.
Oh no, does that mean he's coming back?
Filch is like, I guess I gotta start cleaning.
That always kills me. Like, dude, you just got a broom? Like,
The war just ended. You can chill out for 5 minutes.
oh, gotta get back to work, I guess.
Can we talk about this part being one of the worst parts of what they changed?
This wasn't in the book, right?
The fact that he doesn't fix
Yeah, in the books, doesn't he use the Elder Wand to fix his wand?
Yes.
And then he
gets rid of it. But in this one, he just gets rid of it and doesn't fix his own wand.
We'd be invincible.
Also, super funny that it's just like, it's just a twig. The most powerful wand in the world.
You snap it, and then it's just a little puff of smoke. Boop. I'm gonna just throw it. But what's to say, like, no one's gonna go and, like, find the pieces and try to mend it?
Look, they're looking over a chasm. It just means that thing is gone now.
And that's it. That's the movie.
It's not quite the end. The naming of the kids is like one of the most fan fiction-y things you could do. Also, love that Albus has a ferret. Good for him.
But they changed the animals then.
It's okay. It's good for me. I like it.
It's cute. The ferret's cute.
You were named after 2 headmasters of Hogwarts.
Couldn't name your kid McGonagall, eh? Albus, Severus, McGonagall.
Just go through the list. I'm gonna put all of them in there.
See how they're slowly cropping out Ginny? Just so it's the main 3? Come on.
Oh, so close. Slide to the right.
And there's Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
Nah, it was done 5
Part
minutes ago.
2. We have officially watched all the Harry Potter movies.
We have.
And it feels like it's been a long time. So, retrospective on this, I don't even know how you compare, like, the first one to the last one.
They're completely different.
Yeah, from where it starts to where it ends, it does work, I think, as like a full story, which is nice. And I also think it works better as just a contained story. I don't necessarily need multiple spin-offs or any other supplementary.
Yeah, no. There's definitely, like, like fan picks that are like prime to do and put on film, but that doesn't, completely rewrite canon.
I think for me, I was a fan of Harry Potter. I wasn't necessarily like a fan of Hogwarts universe. It was like, I'm interested in this particular story.
Yeah.
So the things that kind of have to do with the story, like Marauders and that kind of stuff, I could see some interest in that. But things that are just like, it's of the same universe, I'm like, well,
yeah,
I don't really care.
I think like it would be, for me, I would be interested in seeing like not maybe a movie, but like a TV show of like the Marauders. I think that would be interesting, or them doing almost like, okay, so we're now done Hogwarts, like let's follow them and like, okay, what are they doing now, kind of thing, like in between the whole like 19 years later kind of thing, like, okay, cool, it's a little cheesy, and it was definitely like very much fan service, I think, but I would still be interested to be like, okay, like, like, because Hermione went back to Hogwarts and she graduated in Ginny's year. And then like some went to the Ministry, some went to go back to Hogwarts and teach, like Neville. So it'd be interesting to kind of like follow the core like 10 people and like see what they're doing, whether that's in a movie, a couple movies, or like a TV show. Yeah. But I feel like they kind of like, if they were gonna do something, they should have. Should have done it already, because like like, not to say that the actors can't do it anymore. They are around the age group, but I feel like they're more around the age group now to do the whole like
19 years later.
Yeah, almost like they're almost at the point they could do the 19 years later, or even like 10 years after the Battle of Hogwarts.
And I think like for this kind of universe, I see it lending itself better to being like a video game, like the one that's coming out, because you're the character and you can kind of make the story.
I'm so stoked for that.
It's coming out on Switch.
It's coming out on the Switch, which
for me,
just for you, Maddie.
Yeah, because I don't have any of the next gen stuff.
When Steven said it was coming out on the Switch, I was like, really?
I know, that's what I said.
I was like, I would have pictured this more as like a VR game, like this, like the Hogwarts Legacy in VR. Oh my god, that VR set would never come off my head. Like, I would just be living there the whole time.
So I think for me, if it's things happening in the universe, it's better to have like different stories that are more like insert yourself into it, as opposed to like, here's a random side tangent story, but it's a movie. I'm kind of like, I don't really want to watch that.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, yeah, the same. Like, I'm not really a fan of like so I've never read Cursed Child. I know enough of it to not be interested at all.
I have read it.
I own it and I bought it and I haven't read it yet. But like, I've heard enough about it to know that it's like complete bonkers.
Yeah, it's just strange. Like,
But even like the Fantastic Beasts stuff too, like I've seen like the first couple ones and I'm just like, I don't know, like you're turning a school textbook that's like maybe 50 pages into how many movies, and it's not even about Newt. It's like now it's just turned into Dumbledore and Grindelwald, which
I don't
is
know
like
where
completely
it's gone.
like kind of silly.
Yeah. We kind of talked about when you went to see this in theater already, but then coming out of the theater, what were your thoughts?
I enjoyed it. It definitely felt like this is a conclusion. It didn't really feel like anything was like left unsaid kind of thing.
Yeah.
I still do think that you could have just stopped it. Like, you know, not done the 19 years later. Like even when I first saw it, I'm like, this is kind of silly. Especially when they drop the names. Like, I'm just like, come on, man. But it definitely, like, you know, I felt satisfied leaving the theater. I was like, okay, like that was a good conclusion. Like, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, there is a very like final sense to it where it does feel like this is the end. This is again one of the questions I have if you were watching this without reading the books or without really having any of the context, if you understand what's going on during this movie, because a lot of it I do feel like it's pretty quick, especially relating to like which characters don't make it and stuff like that. So that is something I'd be like truly interested in people saying kind of how they felt about it, if they even really noticed like some things that were happening, just different subtexts and things like that that are missing in the movie.
Those who fell during the Battle of Hogwarts. This is a long list from Screen Rant. Now this one is a little bit more detailed. Like it does say like how they died.
Oh, okay.
But we won't get into that details because we just watched the film. Okay, so deaths in Dumbledore's army and their allies during the Battle of Hogwarts. So first one is Severus Snape, Remus Lupin, Nymphadora Tonks, Fred Weasley, Colin Creevey.
Oh.
Lavender Brown. And then they have what's called the Fallen 50. So the Fallen 50 is the name that was given to the group of unknowns who died during the battle. The bodies were also placed in the Great Hall, and they were also remembered for their efforts. But those are the bodies that, like, I would, if you're going to categorize it as those as like the extras.
Yeah.
These are characters that died, but they didn't have a name or they weren't that prominent kind of thing. And then if we go to the death of Voldemort's forces, so Scabier is one of the Snatchers. So this one's gonna credit Crabbe.
Oh yeah.
Because in the book it was Crabbe that died, but due to the actor being involved in the London riots, he wasn't invited back to reprise his role, so they gave the death to Goyle. Bellatrix, Nagini, Voldemort.
What?
Voldemort dies, guys. But those were kind of like the main ones.
Does Harry count?
They did not count Harry, but I would almost count him.
Or count Voldemort twice.
7 times.
Yeah.
Voldemort died 7 times. The other thing that we wanted to do is do in memoriam, I guess, or in remembrance for the actors that were in Harry Potter that are no longer with us. So just to start, first one on this list, which is off of Fiction Horizon, is Alan Rickman, played Severus Snape. Alfred Burke, who plays Armando Dippet. Dave Legeno, who plays Fenrir Greyback. David Ryle, who plays Elphias Doge. Derek Deadman, who plays Tom, or the Leaky Cauldron Barkeep. Elizabeth Spriggs, the original fat lady from the first 2. Eric Sykes played Frank Bryce, so the housekeep from the 4th one. Hazel Douglas, who played Bathilda Bagshot. Helen McCroy, who played Narcissa Malfoy. Jimmy Gardner, who played Ernie, the bus driver from the 3rd one. Sir John Hurt played Garrick Ollivander. Paul Ritter played Eldred Warple. Peter Cartwright played Elphias Doge. Richard Griffiths, who played Uncle Vernon. Richard Harris, who played Dumbledore in the first 2 films. Robert Hardy, who played Cornelius Fudge. Robert Knox, who played Belby. Roger Lloyd Pack played Barty Crouch Sr. Sam Beasley played Professor Everard.
Terrence Baylor, who played the Bloody Baron. Timothy Bateson played Creature. Vern Troyer, who played Grip Hook in the original, like the first one. And that's it.
But we kind of wanted to do this just to, give some respect to the actors that were in this series, and also to show just like how expansive this series was and how pivotal it was culturally, and how many actors were a part of it and just making it what it is. So I think just giving those dues,
Absolutely.
just showing.
Well, and it's like for those like who were watching from the beginning, like some of these not character, but like, well, you could say character deaths and like deaths of actors have, they hurt a bit because they were phenomenal in what they did, and so losing that much talent, it's like, it's heartbreaking. And the unfortunate thing too is when you look at how some of these people died, it's not all like not old age. It's like cancer, or it's suicide. So it's heartbreaking. But to know that like we can acknowledge that their hard work was like phenomenal throughout like the last, like, I don't even know how many years, not just with Harry Potter, but like with all the other projects that they've been a part of. Just to kind of know that they're still appreciated.
Yeah.
Even though they're not here anymore.
And we're not like so far removed from when this last movie did come out, not that much time has passed. So just the fact that there have been like quite a few notable people from this series that have passed, it's something to note that it is sad when you're watching these movies now.
Yeah. Because it's like, oh, they're no longer here and I don't get to see any more of their new works.
Yeah.
Some of them it was like quite suddenly too, so they were in the midst of projects that are now not going to be able to be completed, and so we're not going to be able to see like their final work kind of thing. So it's nice to like be able to reflect on something like Harry Potter like years before they started getting sick or whatever it may have been, to see them happy, healthy, and doing what they love, which is acting and portraying a character.
Just to end all this, we picked this series to start with because it's something that we both watched growing up, and we know quite a bit about it. I would
just
say.
A wee bit, I would say. not like we're obsessed with it or anything. Just a wee bit.
But I think it also gives way for a lot of conversation, and that we can talk and react to the movie in ways maybe we didn't notice some previous viewings, or just seeing things in a different light, or coming at it, when we're a bit older now and just seeing how the story plays out. But I do still think this series is something that people, if they've never seen it, it's something they should watch.
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, it's definitely, for me, it doesn't feel dated at all. I mean, maybe the first two, but that's just because they went like really overboard with it being for children. But even now, when I go back and I watch it, like it may just be like the nostalgia factor.
Yeah, so I think we have enjoyed watching this series. It's been a lot of Harry Potter for the past little while because we're reacting to these and editing these, so it's been quite a lot of Harry Potter drawing on my hand too.
It's been like since the beginning. Like one of the first things we did was Harry Potter, so it's like it's gonna be weird not having to do it. I don't know, we might have to do a game or something later on, Maddie.
But I would say let us know below your thoughts, especially on this movie, but also the series as a whole. And then moving forward, is there any other kind of franchises or anything you'd really like us to talk about?
Don't worry, we got you covered with the Lord of the Rings.
That might be in the
and
pipeline.
The Hobbit. May or may not already be on our list of things that we want to do.
Maybe. But I think we just want to say like thank you, because this has been...
It's been a journey.
It has been quite the journey.
We are now concluding our chapter on Harry Potter.
Yeah.
For now, we might revisit that with a game or something later on.
Door isn't closed.
Door isn't closed. We're just turning the light off for now.
Just for now.
Just for now.
With the Deluminator.
With the Deluminator.
Thank you so much for watching with us.
It's been a blast and a half.
Had a really good time.
As always.
You could like this video.
Or subscribe, even better.
If you want to see something for us to watch in the future, like a movie or TV show, please let us know in the comments.
And we'll get on that right away for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Woohoo! So, not related to this film, related to the second film.
Okay.
No, okay, so it's interesting. So I was reading a fanfic and they're going like year by year kind of thing. And they brought up an interesting fan theory about the page that Hermione has in her
Okay.
hand. Okay?
Yes.
So bear with me here. So the theory is why would Hermione rip a page out of a book?
Maybe she was holding the book and then her body got petrified and she fell and it ripped it as she was falling.
So it's just interesting though, because when you think about it that way, you're like, oh wait, Hermione would never rip a page out of a book.
No.
But who would?
Voldemort.
He planted it.
Yeah.
The theory goes it was Draco.
Okay.
Do you remember when they were in the bookshop
Yes.
and he rips a page out of a book?
Because he dislikes knowledge.
Because he likes knowledge. So the theory is that the page he ripped out was about the basilisk because he had inside information from his father, and so he planted it for Hermione to find. Let us know in the comments below. Do you think that Hermione ripped the page or Draco ripped the page?
Or no one did.
Or no one did. It was Peeves, guys.